Hey. All right. Today I want to talk to you about when you are consuming content made by other source players, how it is helpful for you to listen multiple times. I know for myself that I often have to listen to a video I just listened to over and over and over again because many times, and usually it's the same exact thing, I will miss it several times. But usually because I'm listening to somebody while I'm driving or I'm doing something, I'm not fully 100% giving all of my attention to the video. Okay. So this could be something that you yourself do. If not, nevertheless, it is always helpful to listen to a source player's video several times until you fully grasp it. And you have to remember, especially like Judy's content, Frederick's content, you may not be a frequency match to things that are being said. And you may comprehend it differently once your frequency goes up. So in particular, I was having a conversation with Will. Will is another source player. He's a contributor and a supporter of this channel. And we've kind of like become friends. You know, we chat every now and then. And it's very helpful as a source player. If you're not going through your journey in like the same household with another source player who is doing the work for themselves, this can be a very isolated journey. And we are all subject to our own perceptions of things. And our perceptions are based on filters that everything is through our own specific filter. Okay. So our perception and our comprehension of things may not always be accurate, which is why it's helpful to listen again and again and again, because as you work on your frequency, you can pick things up. So in particular, there's this video that Judy did about not revisiting your past. Now, the way I perceived what she was saying was that don't put yourself in the past. Don't dwell on memories of the past. You're living in your past. Don't live in your past. That's what I interpreted her to mean by that. This does not mean that, let's say you want to start a business, okay? And it might be a business that you yourself had run before, but now you're on a different frequency and you haven't, you've kind of put that to the wayside, that experience, that choice that was in the past, but you have knowledge, you have know-how about this business, and now you've worked on your frequency and your frequency has come up and you might have a better comprehension. You might have the hindsight of seeing where we went wrong. Ultimately, you have to remember anything you did prior to making the choice to unlock your script and do the personal work was a scripted choice. It was a scripted choice and you were locked into the results and the scripted choices that you could make within that choice, within that frequency, which was most likely a red zone frequency. So you got to give yourself some slack and let yourself off the hook if you failed, if you messed it up. Because I've messed up three businesses. Not even businesses, just like entrepreneurial, independent contractor, like doing my own thing. They've all been like mediocre. Does that mean I give up in trying something? No. It just means I'm going to acknowledge the fact that my frequency has come up. My frequency has changed. I am a different person than I was. I'm not making lower red frequency choices anymore. And now I know that I can be successful. It's different. Okay. Don't dwell on your past mistakes from that business. So let's say you have a crystal business and that crystal business flopped miserably. Okay. That doesn't mean you cannot start again. You start all new. Maybe you rebrand it. Maybe you buy, a new domain name, whatever the case may be. You start completely new and you plan it out better and you tackle it in a different way. but it doesn't mean you can't ever run a crystal business again. It doesn't mean you can't ever run a baking business again. It doesn't mean you can't ever have a pet care business. It doesn't mean you can't have X, Y, and Z. You absolutely can, even if you had them in the past. You're just going to approach it in a different way on a different frequency now. That's all it means. And do not allow yourself to dwell on your past mistakes and failures, because that is living in your past. And like I said, that is taking your frequency body, that is taking your emotional frequency body and your conscious frequency body and moving it out of alignment with your other frequency body. So you don't want to do that. That is the way I interpreted her to mean what she was saying in those kind of videos, where she's like, don't go back to your past. But doesn't mean you can't try and create a brand new version of a past business when you were in the red zone. Okay? What I will say, what I will add is this is the way I see it. Any job or anything that I did when I was like, say, on frequency 5, okay? Anything I did then, I'm only going to get that. Like, I created something on that frequency, and this is not my own. This is also stuff that I've gleaned from Quartz Crystal's videos. You're only ever going to get the result of a manifestation from the frequency that it was on. This was, she was talking about when you wanted to create a relationship, when you wanted to intentionally create a relationship. If you were on frequency 5 or 6 or whatever, and you want to create a relationship, you're only going to get a relationship that is going to be a match to that frequency, because that's where you are. So, think about that. Like, I think about that with like my Uber Eats. I started that in 2017. I started doing Uber Eats in 2017. And, you know, where my frequency was back then compared to where it is now, and my mindset and my neutrality, or, you know, back then lack thereof, and every day was a traumatic experience for me. Yeah, you know, like, I think about, I was still in the red zone when I decided to do that. Even though I intended to unlock my script and stopped eating meat, I was still doing other red zone activities. So where was my frequency back then? You know? So I can see progressively through the years how I've never been able to like break through a certain threshold. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe if I decided to close my Uber account today and start a new one, it would be different, because I would be on a different frequency. I hope that kind of helps clarify things. So, yeah. But don't let it make you flounder. Don't let it make you stagnate. Don't impose restrictions on yourself. You're not restricted. We as our natural state, we have no lack. We are not restricted. We are unbound, creative beings. So don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. It's not, there's something within you. If you are doing that, that's something you have to work on. That you are saying, well, I can't do that because I failed in the past. I think that's a lot of self-punishment. A lot of self-punishment, and you gotta get to the root of that. And I think really what that comes down to is unworthiness, a feeling of unworthiness, and that's a biggie. It's the most crucial thing. How can you be unworthy of being what you really are? Okay? How could you be unworthy if you suffer from chemical imbalances, if you suffer from physical ailments, if you suffer from, you know, mental health, mental illness, there's this tendency to punish yourself like you're broken or bad. And no. Okay? I know it's rough. I know it's rough to cope with and deal with and try to see your way through it. see the path out of it. But understand that you are absolutely worthy of everything you want. And you're worthy to have the things that you want to have. You're worthy of being a source player. You are a source player. There is no, am I worthy or not? So I hope this is helpful to anybody struggling and going through it. If you're struggling to get a better job, if you're struggling to get better income, XYZ, whatever the case may be, you are absolutely worth it. And you are absolutely deserving. Do that work. Do that work. Talk to your inner child. It is super important. It is super important. Okay? So I'm going to leave you at that. Be well. See you in the next video.